This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Welcome to Red Panda Report. Buckle up for two-fisted pulp action as I talk about the terrific twosome of Toronto. Red Panda Adventures episode 35, The Rat Lord, was written and directed by Greg Taylor. It was originally aired May 3rd, 2008, and here is the copy written by Greg Taylor, who also is the voice of the Red Panda. A sudden rash of petty crime is spreading like wildfire, bleeding the city white a few dollars at a time. Is it really possible that these robberies are being carried out by an army of children? What elemental force could possibly have driven these innocents into a life of crime? And will even the Red Panda be able to oppose the might of the Rat Lord? So, this was a lot of fun. This episode was a lot of fun. There are multiple things going on here that are kind of interesting. I will avoid getting too far into spoilers, but this episode kind of lends itself to spoiler talk. So if you listen to the episode and you don't know what's going on, but you have suspicions about what's going to happen in the future of the Red Panda series, well, this episode might just confirm some of them for you. So anyway, that being said, the things that I liked were the black cap, the big hat, and what else? Oh, I guess the follow-up. So first of all, last episode, which was called The Empty Box, ended with Red Panda promising Kit that he would take her to the beach, and it sounded like they were going to go, but it was kind of open-ended. And then this episode begins with them at the beach, and I think that's a lot of fun. So while this is definitely, I think, a family-friendly show 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, there are little things in there that are interesting. They're a little spicy, I guess you could say. And the flirtation between Kit and Red Panda got a little spicy this episode. I gotta say, as a married man, as a husband and a father, it was a lot of fun. It reminds me of the youthfulness, and like, I don't know, just kind of that starting energy of a relationship and of a marriage. And I don't just mean, looking at each other. Well, I mean, like, looking each other in the face and talking. There's, there's different ways to make eye contact, and this kind of alluded to that. And actually, that works on more levels than I thought. Anyway, so it was a lot of fun. It's a little much, but it's radio, so you're just hearing it and you're not seeing it. But the word oogling, I think, is how Taylor pronounced it, which is hilarious because I always thought it was ogling, but oogling is a lot funnier read on that word. Although maybe it's the Canadian way to say it, eh? I don't know. But that happened. Which, it's not so family friendly, but I think it would kind of go over a kid's head. But the rest of it was really, good, and clean and wholesome. But yeah, there was a little bit of an edge there with the spiciness, or with, the two of them flirting with each other. And, it turned into something more than just passive interest in each other, or, will they, won't they? Now it's not just, suspected. It really is getting into much more legitimate territory. There's much more terra firma here, if you forgive that Canadian pun, I guess, that it looks like something's going to blossom between Red Panda and Flying Squirrel. So that's interesting. That's really, that part was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because I know what happens in the future, and knowing what happens in the future, I don't know, it was very charming, very sweet, very, very cute, like almost like rom-com level, meet cute kind of thing. Even though they've obviously known each other for a long time, maybe 2 years now. Could be going on the third year. I'm not sure exactly if the show paces a year. It's 12 episodes per season. Is that, one a month? Is that, some other different cadence that still makes it so each season covers about a year? I'm not exactly sure, but regardless, they've known each other for a while. They're, getting closer and closer. And speaking of getting closer and closer, Red Panda has even taught Flying Squirrel, Kit Baxter, to how to do disguise makeup. This is something definitely pulled from The Shadow. Batman a little bit. There's an episode from Batman the Animated Series where he goes and lives as like a hobo downtown, and he gets abducted, and it's like a really weird, crazy episode. Anyway, but he's a master of disguise, Batman and Red Panda and The Shadow. Actually, the way The Shadow does disguise makeup is super interesting because in one particular Shadow book that I listened to, I couldn't tell throughout the book, like, which one of these guys is, like, I'm pretty sure the Shadow is one of these guys who were seeing his face and we're hearing his name and he's doing these different things. But between him and other agents, I can't tell which one of them is the Shadow, which is really fun. But anyway, not to get into right now, but just, go read Shadow books and listen to old radio dramas of the Shadow, because they're fantastic. Anyway, moving on. What happened was Kit was doing makeup on Harry Kelly, who comes back, and also Harry Kelly plays into things in a big way too here, and anyway, it's just very interesting. He gets to be the lead man on an agent, lead kid on an agent, or on a mission, and he is the Black Cap. He basically begs for a nickname, and Kit kind of makes fun of Robin or other boy sidekicks and says, "Oh, you'd have us call we won't make you a fellow with us, basically, because you'd have us call you Panda Boy, and you'd be getting kidnapped all the time, and blah blah blah." And very funny. But she's setting him up. She does his makeup so he looks like a completely ordinary kid, but another kid who isn't Harry Kelly. And then he's begging for something special, so a code name or whatever. And Red Panda spots a hat, a black cap, like a newsboy cap, and he puts it on, and he says, "If we put this at the right angle, boom, there's your disguise. Kids will know what to look for if you wear it just like this, and you tell them you're the Black Cap." And he's thrilled at this nickname, his code name, and he even does his own little, this guy's going to see justice at the hands of the Black Cap. And then he runs his whole crew of kids. And basically they ferret out this guy who's hanging out in the sewers, bossing kids around, threatening them, telling them that bad things are going to happen to their families, and only he can protect them by them paying tribute to him. And what he's doing is he's coercing all these children into becoming an army of thieves for him, basically. And they're going and they're, pickpocketing, and they're, boosting whatever they can, boosting nickels from a phone machine. They're doing whatever they can to steal stuff, which is awful. And he names a 115, he names a 231, that's how he says it. So he's got at least 231 of these, little agents for him. And it's interesting because it kind of serves as like a contrast to the Red Panda's agents, who he also calls by numbers, Agent so-and-so, or such and such. I don't remember anybody's agent number at this point. But, it's really interesting because it parallels that. And they even make it a point that the Black Cap, Harry Kelly, tells the Rat Lord when he confronts him in the sewer along with all these other kids and red pandas there and flying squirrels there as well, but they're just hidden. He says, these are all my agents now, and, I'm working for the Red Panda. So, they co-op his agents into their organization. And it's just kind of interesting because I love the idea of that dichotomy, that you can have something that can either be used for good or for evil. And it's how it's used that matters. It's what you do with it, A gun can be used to save people's lives and protect them, or a gun can be used to, murder people. Or, Flying Squirrel and Red Panda, they are brutal with their violence, but they enact violence on criminals in order to save people's lives and to protect them. And, it's ultimately for the greater good, which you have to be careful with. But anyway, I'm just saying it's interesting that the Rat Lord has this group, this organization that he's running, and the Red Panda has this organization, and he even kind of coaches Harry Kelly in how to run it on his own. And there's just a lot of cute moments with Harry Kelly, and I don't know, I swelled with pride hearing this kid do these heroic things and have this ambition and this drive to put himself on the line and put himself in danger for the sake of saving and helping these other kids, and ultimately stopping this bad guy who's using children as his weapons, as his instruments. And I don't know, it was just really moving and charming and warm. And there's this line in there that Red Panda gives, or you don't know if you didn't listen to it, but if you didn't, you should, where he says something like, "Children are often vulnerable and hesitant to go to adults because they're afraid that they won't be believed, or that they'll get in trouble if something wrong is happening to them or with them or in and around them." And that's very true. And it almost feels like a very special episode, or like a PSA type of episode, but it's really good and very entertaining, and those things usually aren't. So I don't know, it's interesting because it feels like it has a purpose outside of just being an entertaining show, to give this moral, to give this lesson. And I don't know if that's for the primarily adult readers or listeners of Red Panda, that Taylor was trying to speak to them through the characters, through the show, to say hey, listen to kids around you, because they might be in trouble and they might need your help. Or if it was just, I don't know, just something of the times or something of the era. It's something that maybe happened in old radio shows, and Taylor decided to put it in there because he could, and he's emulating those old radio shows, just like the commercials they would have sometimes. And I don't know. Anyway, it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. That's the review is over. The analysis is over. So thank you very much. If you want to go now, If you have a couple minutes to spare, I'll be brief, but I will tell you I have good, solid updates for my stuff. First of all, if you go to the show notes for this episode, wherever you're checking it out, YouTube or through the podcast feed, go to the webnet show notes, which are on mjwindows.com. You will find links to this, or links to Decoder Ring, links to the Shadow Radio shows, and also links to read some of my stories, like Midnight Angel, which is a noir superhero short story that I wrote. And more than that, you'll also find links to growbugs.com, where you can find out about my up-and-coming book. As of right now, I'm 3 chapters in. I've written the entire outline. I have massaged it and seen that it's all cohesive, and I may tweak chapter 4, because as I was looking at my outline for it, I thought maybe I could make it a little bit better. But what I'm saying is I am very rapidly moving through drafting from my outline. So I have a complete outline. I have the story told beginning, middle, and end, start to finish, but it's in raw form, just the data, just the information for me to know what to do and what the overall story is. And now I'm going through, and I took the outline for chapter 1 and I said, okay, let me write this out. And I turned it into prose, and then I did it with chapter 2. I did it with chapter 3. I'm going to do it with chapter 4 at some point very soon. But my point is, I am pushing myself steadily. I'm trying to do an hour a chapter. We'll see if I can do that or not. I started off, the first chapter was 2.5 hours. The next one was an hour and a half. The next one was an hour and a half. The third one was an hour and a half as well. But I got a higher word count down. So hopefully as I get into a groove and I push myself to do an hour to 2 hours straight of writing, I can start knocking out these chapters really efficiently, really well, and get this book done. What is this book about? It's called Axel's Arcade. That's the broad title. It's about a kid who gets trapped in a video game, but he likes it. He's very happy. His family owns an arcade, and in that arcade, there's a new game cabinet, and he gets pulled into that. He gets pulled into, it's like a sequel, or it's like it's basically a sequel. It's a sequel series, but that's disconnected from other arcade games, one of his favorites, and he loves the world. He enjoys it. He beats the game, and then he keeps playing the game, and he doesn't want to get out of the game, which is great for him, except he doesn't know that the reason he was able to go into the game is because there's this evil force, this hive mind of these cybernetic bugs that want to dominate humanity, that want to wipe his brain, wipe his mind, and turn him into a meat puppet that they can use for their evil purposes. He doesn't know that. They've constructed this whole game thing for him to be pulled in there, and he has to escape. He has to want to escape from that world, which he doesn't, because he wants to run away and wants to escape into this thing, but he can't, because if he runs from the reality and he tries to live in fantasy and live in fantasy alone, it will destroy him. And it's an emotional journey, but it's a cool journey. There's fights, there's video game stuff going on there, and there's a story with his family and with him, and there's personal growth, and the stakes just get higher and higher and more interesting as you go through the story. And I'm having a lot of fun writing it. I think I'm doing a really good job of making him have a loving family, but having him have conflict with that family, and having him choose to turn away from them and put his energy into other things, as opposed to putting his energy back into the family and having a relationship with them. And I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a really good book. I think it's going to be valuable for boys. Girls aren't welcome to read it, of course, but I think it's going to be a really valuable story for boys about facing and dealing with reality. And it's going to be done in a really cool way. And there's for sure there's 2. There might be a third super cool fight in the book, because they're in a video game world and anything can happen. And I'm really excited to write those scenes. And I just wrote an epic air hockey scene, which sounds really stupid, but it works. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun for me to write so far. And I love the story overall. And as I'm writing the prose and making the draft, I'm really falling in love with the story, because I think there's something really good there, and there's something really strong and powerful there. And I'm hoping you'll enjoy it as well. So you can find out more about that at growbugs.com. You can sign up you can sign up to pre-order. You can sign up to find out about what's going to go on. There's a newsletter you'll get, and I'm doing about every week a new update that goes out through the newsletter on the blog at connected to the blog at growbugs.com. That's GROBUGS. So enjoy. Take care. I hope you enjoyed that. Like, share, and subscribe. I invite you to comment, ask questions, and share your thoughts with me. It's always more fun when you're part of the conversation. Until next time, be well and hold high the lamp of justice. Visit mjmunoz.com for more of my work and help me build up the Fortress Fiction.